And welcome live to the LV Home Experts Radio Show, where we talk about real estate and financing every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If this is your first time tuning into the show, my name is Chakits Krulsawat. I'm a licensed real estate agent out here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Today we have a very special guest, Bill Hargraves. He is a licensed real estate agent out here in Las Vegas, Nevada. He specializes in luxury listings. On today's topic, we are going to be talking about how to sell your home, how to prepare for your home, especially if you have a luxury listing, how to find the right agent, what you can do to actually get top dollar for your home. So we're going to get this show started right away. Bill, what's up?
What's up, man?
So are you ready to break it down and explain how all this works?
Yeah, let's do it. Okay,
let's give
them all the information.
Well, before we get started, what I like to do is, you guys already know Dan French with a Guaranteed Rate, lender out here in Las Vegas, Nevada, king of kings, gurus of all gurus when it comes to financing. I don't know if it's self-proclaimed, or are you the king?
I don't know.
Say yes.
Yes.
Yes, there you go. That's what I want to hear. But let's start off with Bill, because this is very important. The way that the market is going right now, we are starting to see a little bit shift. A lot of people out there are talking about, oh my gosh, hold on, we got to deny this call. I don't know why I do that. Maybe I should just turn off my phone prior to the show. That'd be a good idea, right?
You got a lot of moving parts.
Yeah, I know.
There.
Anyway, so like I was saying is that the market has shifted a little bit, but a lot of people thinking that we're going to go like directly into a recession. However, the market is still moving very fast, right?
Very strong.
Very strong. And the thing about it is, you know, instead of having 40 offers on a home, we're having 30 offers on a home. And people are like, oh my God, the market is going to crash. No, it's not going to crash just yet. I'm sure we will have a downturn, but it ain't right now, right?
Well, there's a difference between a correction and a crash. Anybody who is relating the current condition of economic growth and normal ebb and flow of a regular market of high demand and high prices, you have a surge, but every time you have a surge, you have it come back to normal. It's kind of like a pendulum.
Yeah.
But I think the people that are comparing it to a 2008 crash where there was criminal activity and fraud and the loans were bad and being sold and there was a whole bunch of, really illegal stuff going on that led to that horrendous crash. I think they're being irresponsible to compare it to that.
Okay. Now, I want to go back just a little bit because I want my viewers to get to know who you are as a person, right? Mm-hmm. Can you kind of give us a quick rundown of when you got started, how you got started, and where you are at today, and what is it that you really specialize in?
Well, I was really sick and tired of corporate America. I was sick and tired of the greed and the illegal activities of the CEOs. I was a very successful salesman for ADT Security.
Okay.
And the parent company was Tyco. And, I'm out there trying to take care of commercial businesses, trying to improve their bottom line through electronic security, and very successful at it. But then the next thing you know, the CEO of Tyco commits fraud, and he's on the cover of every magazine and every newspaper about going to jail. It was something about a $400 million art collection, which he had claimed to be stolen, but there was a video of it hanging in the corporate office. So it's really hard to get the confidence and sell security to companies when your CEO is going. And so to prison for fraud. And so it just got to the point where I got so sick of other people and the institution of corporate America controlling my destiny. Mm-hmm. So I had to take some time and just, get quiet with myself and say, what do you love? What do you want to do with the rest of your life? And what came to me was, man, I've loved real estate since I was little. I mean, nobody would play Monopoly with me because I was like, freaking ridiculously ruthless.
You ain't that good, are you?
I was good, man. My grandmother, I wouldn't even give her a break.
Dude, I'm the king of Monopoly, bro.
I think we got to have some sort of tournament, man. Oh, shit. That would be great because, it was just like, shit. How do I control my own destiny?
Yeah.
How do I make enough money? How do I, survive in this world when these seemingly awful people have so much greed and so much power? And so when everybody was running out of real estate in 2010, I got my license at Key Realty. Teddy's the best. If you're looking to go, Key Realty is the way to go. And Teddy and Robin helped me acquire it. And, it's like anything else. Like when you come to terms with yourself and you make a decision, the whole universe just opens up to you.
Yeah.
And so I started at Keller Williams with Debbie Zoyce because I thought that structure would give me a lot of good training, and they did. There was a lot of agent participation, and through some connections and friends, I had the opportunity to interview with Florence and Ivan. So I basically went from zero to Shapiro in 18 months. And
So for the viewers, who is that and what level is that? So that way people know.
Well, Florence was the queen of luxury real estate in Las Vegas since 1974. She was the undisputed, leader, her class, her quality. And then Ivan became her partner, I think, 17 years ago and established a firm named Shapiro and Scheer, which was really worldwide recognized as the leader in luxury in Las Vegas. And so unfortunately, a few years ago, she passed away from cancer, and then now it's the Ivan Scheer Group, and Ivan did close to, I believe, $800 million last year.
Yeah, he's a top producer.
I mean,
he's
it's
a
just,
top producer.
And it's not about having a television show or how many likes you have on Instagram or whatever. Florence and Ivan established their reputation through hard work, integrity. You were talking about it before, how you hate the fact that some, agents get all swollen and, they're driving a leased, a leased car, and they're feeling all important because they sell a lot of real estate. But the fact of the matter remains is that, Florence and Ivan were raised us with the idea that you're only good as your last deal.
I like that philosophy.
And, you're not solving world peace. You're not curing cancer. You're selling a house, for Christ's sake. So let's not get too full of ourselves.
I'm not going to discredit agents.
No. That's not what we're trying to do.
Right. It's just everybody has to feel like, okay, they're important.
Yeah.
And not everybody, in my opinion, deserves a trophy, right? Not everybody deserves, hey, it's just, look, we all come to work. We all have a task and job to do, right? Regardless of whatever it is.
Right.
And I think with you talk about agents, they want to promote you or give you some type of promotion, or, hey, we're going to give you a trophy or this. When I'm not saying it's not deserved, but I feel that, not everybody should have to be like, hey, let's pump you up and get you, because it's all sales and it's all prop. And I don't know, that's just me. Like, not everybody deserves to have or be on that top list. Maybe you get there, you know, but
right. It's what you were saying before. It's not about, why is there the top 20 on there? It's not because of the competition. It's not about knocking anybody else out. It's about your own internal ethics, your own internal character, and you rise to the top, not to beat somebody else down, but because you're a hard worker, you have integrity. You know what I mean? You put your clients first, and that's how you become successful.
I think what happens is when one agent sees another, right, they try to get to that level, but then I think they use that as a barometer to kind of gauge themselves of where they stand.
And that's almost like guaranteed failure.
Yeah.
Because what we were encouraged both by Florence and Ivan, and I remember very specifically sitting around that table every Tuesday, and she would remind us, and Ivan would remind us, that we were there for a specific purpose.
Yeah.
We weren't there for what we looked like. We weren't there for who we knew. We each brought something unusual and unique to the team, and we were always encouraged to be ourselves and to do what we do in our way so that we could be another facet on that diamond of Shapiro and Scheer.
Do you think they would hire somebody like me with a bunch of tattoos?
Why not? Why
dude,
not?
Because you could have that stigma.
So let's say this.
Yeah.
Back in the 80s, maybe not. Maybe not, because you got to think that there was this aura and this whole persona that you have to look a certain way, suit and tie. Now today,
it's okay.
It's okay. And self-leadership, to go back to it, I think that's really what they're promoting is everybody's unique. Everybody has talent.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's how do you bring out the talent, and can you have self-leadership on a daily basis?
But if you're taken into a brokerage, and this is why when it came time to build my own team, and this is why I went to Corcoran, because Corcoran's whole model is about developing the individual, being yourself, because that's the only way you can be successful in real estate. Because you know what? My clients are never going to talk to him.
Yeah.
And his clients are never going to talk to me. So this bullshit that we have going around that, oh, people are stealing your clients and stuff like that, that's kind of a myth that kind of shallow people are under the impression of. Because the fact of the matter is, if I lose one of my clients, it's because I've done something to neglect the relationship. And you have to take responsibility for that.
Yeah, but sometimes his personalities just don't fit. You know, it's like you can...
But that's okay, though, because there's enough business to go around.
Exactly. It's okay, you know?
Exactly. But the fact of the matter is one of the things that Florence also, you know, taught us, and Ivan is really encouraging about, is always be happy for people.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
That's a good leader, actually.
Right? You don't
That's a
own
real good
your
leader.
clients. You don't own your clients. You don't, you know, the fact that they have the right to list their house with somebody else or try to have a different experience. They may come back to you, they may not. That doesn't have any priority on how you should treat them or how you should view them, because in the long run, this competition stuff, I think, encourages a lot of ugliness, and it's a violation of our duties owed.
Are you writing this down?
Yeah. No, I got this all recorded.
You know what I mean? I mean, really, if you read the duties owed, everybody in the transaction is responsible for a proper result for the buyer and the seller, no matter which side you're on.
Yeah.
You know, and we've all had to pick up some slack for maybe some agents that don't know something, but that was always welcomed in our culture.
That's good.
You know what I mean? Really vain, self-centered, selfish agents never lasted with us. It was kind of like such an uncomfortable environment for them. They just kind of left. They couldn't stand it.
So how did you transition from that company to a new company? What made you break off, especially when you're working with the top team, the top tier, or the echelon, right? Luxury real estate. Sure. Why now? Why did you say, you know what, I'm going to leave. I want to do my own thing.
Primarily two different reasons, really strong reasons, is that you have a chance when you have a decade in something and you're doing really well, you have a chance to do your own thing.
Yeah.
And one of the greatest things about Ivan, I think so, is he's so encouraging and he's so altruistic when it comes to agents and supporting people's progress. And when we sat down and I said, I think it's time for me to try to do my own thing, although it was kind of melancholy for the both of us because we have a decade and we went through everything as like a family environment. And but you know what? I also feel an obligation to Ivan and to Florence to pass on to other agents, to make some great agents, to help them understand that they can do really good business without attitude, with cooperation. And so I wanted to be to other people what they were to me, if that makes any sense.
Sounds like you're recruiting for people on your team right now.
Not directly, but always.
Indirectly.
Always. I mean, if you want an environment where you're supported, where you kind of do business in a different way, where you're hugely successful, because the way Florence and Ivan raised me, you could drop me in the middle of Alaska and I could be successful. Okay. Because I know what's important. So, I mean, always recruiting. Always. I mean, you're going to bring your organization over to my team, right?
Yeah, of course. Sure?
Yeah. Okay.
And you'll be working for me one of these days.
And he's going to be, you know, we'll just trade off. Whoever doesn't feel like working that day works for the other. And then our in-house lender, guaranteed rate. Yeah. So, you know, we got it going on.
So I want to get right into it. So kind of give us a rundown. What's going on with the market? What are you seeing on your side?
Well, I see a lot of activity, and I see, you know, for some reason there was this massive explosion, which, you know, prices went through the roof, demand went through the roof, and I think it's because other areas in the country that were our competition for tax purposes and stuff really failed the residents. I mean, there's certain circumstances of living in Vegas that you don't get other places. First of all, weather. I find that the people that decided to go to Texas or Florida or something like that, they were like, Bill, the weather is insane.
Well, do you know it's 112 today?
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because Vegas offers so much more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And, you know, I mean, I've recently been to Dallas. It's really nice, but it's Dallas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It doesn't have shows 24/7. It doesn't have the atmosphere. I mean, we really enjoy a lifestyle in Las Vegas that's not offered.
Yeah.
To a lot of other people. So I think they were disappointed in their decisions, and so there was an influx of them coming back as California's tax structure and political environment gets worse and worse and worse. The people are fleeing from there. And especially in the luxury market, the super rich really got sick and tired of being mistreated.
I noticed that. It's like homes nowadays around like 2 million. I'm getting cash buyers going in.
Gone.
And within like days, it's gone. It's
Gone.
like so unbelievable.
Gone. The backlog on Blue Heron homes alone is remarkable. But you can't tax people to death, and you can't, you just can't do it.
So what you're saying is you're seeing a lot of migration patterns as we start to increase with the baby boomers, and nowadays there's like over I think it was like 50 million millionaires or something like that, ridiculous here in the U.S. And a lot of people are looking at their financial portfolio, and a lot of them are transitioning based upon tax savings, right? And here, Las Vegas, I mean, you're saving so much money just by even moving here.
Correct.
And that's why a lot of people from California is moving out here. I mean, you're literally saving like 13%, right, in state income tax, I think it was, right, just from coming out here.
But there is a wealth tax that was passed. There is also business tax. So, I mean, you have some people that are rounding out about 48 to 60% in a tax bracket after they're all done.
Yeah.
So when you have a person that's worth $40 million, they can pay cash for a house here and, you know what I mean, fly anywhere they want to and travel anywhere they want to. And also the pressure of other places as far as taxes and travel time. I mean, when I moved here 20 years ago, I mean, I didn't realize how much pressure I was under in California until I was out of it.
Wow.
Just traveling as an outside salesperson on the 10 and the 405 and all of that, it was extremely stressful.
Okay. And do you mostly focus on the listing side or the buying side? What's kind of like your niche?
You know what? I think the niche is irrelevant. I think you're going to cost yourself money if you regard yourself as a listing agent or as a buyer's agent.
Well, what do you like to do? Do you like to buy or you like to do the listing side?
I like it all, man.
Yeah.
I like it all. But you know what? Kristen Roth Silverman is one of the most successful women in real estate here as well. And I regard her opinion as much as I did Florence or Ivan.
Yeah.
And she said something very simple the other day. She said, I really love to concentrate on listings so I'm never put out of the deal. It's like if you're on the listing end, it doesn't matter if the buyer doesn't qualify for their loan or something goes wrong or they change their mind. I think on the buyer side, you can put in a whole lot more work and then end up with nothing. So that one statement from her just really shifted my mindset into go, not because I'm a listing agent or not because I'm a buyer's agent, because if you do your job right, it's going to be an interchanging role. You know what I mean? Every buyer's got to sell and every seller's got to buy. But when she said, I focus on listings so I'm not put out of the deal, that was really powerful. So not because I like one or the other better, but because I also want to protect my efforts and my time. Because as a real estate agent, the really only asset you have is your time.
Correct.
And how you spend it.
Which makes sense. You're not out driving around because once you got the listing, it's almost like a guarantee that, hey, these deals are going to go through.
Yeah.
As long as it's priced correctly. You know what I'm saying?
As long as it's priced correctly and you service the client. But you also have to understand, we have some of the most powerful, educated, most regarded agents in the world here. And they're so amazingly generous with their time and their information. So if you're struggling or if you're at a dead end or feeling burnt out, there's a lot of people here that will coach and counsel and really, I just feel like we're very much able to approach this amazing resource.
So let's talk about on the selling side. The market is still hot, right?
I would say yes.
Okay,
I would say like from white hot to red hot. You know what I mean?
So if somebody wants to sell their home, kind of walk us through the steps on what should that seller do. And I think the best thing, let's start off, how do they find the right agent? Because there's so many agents out there, right? So let's just say you're going to $3 million listing. What sets you apart from everybody else?
Well, experience, first of all.
Okay.
Because there's a different science to selling a multi-million-dollar home and taking care of a multi-millionaire client than there is the normal run-of-the-mill type of a price point.
Yeah.
Okay? Everybody, in my belief, should get the same service because, like, you know, at the Hargraves Luxury Group that I just started, our definition of luxury is based on service, not on price.
Yeah.
I believe everybody deserves the same attentiveness, the same level of service, great communication, but there is a behavior standard, you might say, of how you care for that house. Like when you list with me, I never allow you to show your own house.
Yeah.
It's just beyond. I don't put a lockbox on there, right? There's a lockbox on there, but that's for my team because we will always show that house. We will always walk him through the house. We will always make sure that your house is locked down and it's protected as if it was our own.
Now, does that also include homes that are at 400 versus 2 million?
Why not?
Okay.
Why not?
So that's okay. So that's strong. So why would you do that?
Why are you hiring me as a listing agent and paying me if you're going to show your own home?
So what's the benefits of that? Explain.
The benefits is security.
Okay.
You know that somebody that represents you is there. You know that somebody's going to walk you through that house that knows all the features of that house and lets the other agent and their buyer know what's special about that listing. You're going to know when somebody leaves that it's all locked up and secured and that your life is not hanging out there with doors open or windows open.
Yeah.
Because what incentive really, if you want to know the truth, does a buyer's agent have to take care of your listing?
No.
You don't.
Mm-mm.
And most people will even, I'm sorry, I may be a little anal, but even if your house is vacant, I show it.
Wow.
I don't put a lockbox on it because what if they damage it? What if they don't show it properly?
I think the most important thing here for the seller is that, when you have a listing agent, that listing agent can actually sell your product, like you mentioned, because you'll know that product better than that showing agent, right?
Right.
Because that home may have certain features, like, let's just give a general idea. The walls, right? Obviously, it's insulated. Some interior walls are insulated, some are not.
Sure.
Is it R15, R14? York, go through the other side, bud. So it's just those little things that you can actually upsell that a regular buyer's agent probably wouldn't know.
Well, and the thing about it is that's your responsibility.
Yeah.
That's your responsibility to let them know because, the construction is very important to some people.
Yeah.
Decor is very important to some people. You know what
Look
I mean?
at that. Look at that. Dang. Talking about service, bro.
You're my new best friend.
Well, I thought that would have been me.
Well, you put out the order. You're the boss.
Hey, that's how we take care of our guests. You see that?
You're the boss.
Now you're going to have to drink 2 of them now.
Boy, that's not going to be good for my friends. But you know what?
Be good for the show, though.
And also,
Yeah.
I think that's the problem with commission.
Yeah.
Okay? I think that's people's reluctancy to pay commission because there's a large majority of people that will just put your house on the MLS and you never hear from them anymore.
Okay,
But-
so let's talk about commission because this is important, right? A lot of sellers, they know in today's market that homes are selling quickly. Instead of paying, 3%, 4%, I'm not going to pay that 6%. Someone will go down to 2% and agents will still actually take that listing. How does that hurt the seller by trying to cut a commission down? And we know that commission is always negotiated. And I feel that when an agent really cuts down their commission, they just don't have that strong negotiating skills and the value's not there. So they compensate that with a price reduction, with a reduction on their commission in order to get that listing. But what is the benefit from the selling side to list with you at a 6% versus, listing with me at a 4%?
Okay.
Or overcome that objection. Explain it to the sellers because sellers need to know.
I'm just going to say it. It's not a matter of commission.
Okay.
It's a matter of confidence.
Okay.
I
like that.
I know what I bring to the table.
Yeah.
The level of service, the level of consideration, the level of absolute accuracy and paperwork and stuff like that. And let's just put the myth that a fast sale means that I have to do any less work.
Yeah.
Okay? Let's just end that myth right now. It doesn't matter whether a house sells in 3 months or 3 days. It's still the same process. Okay? A lot of people just understand that people want to save money and stuff like that. And I have no problem with always negotiating commissions.
Yeah.
But I think that people have to look at themselves and say, why do I not deserve what is the standard rate?
Okay.
Why? And here's one of the things that I was raised at, okay? I go into an appointment. I'm going in there. My commission is 3%, unless I double end a deal on the listing.
Yeah.
I do not have the right to sit there and take money out of a stranger's pocket, say like you bring me the buyer. I don't have the right to negotiate your salary without your permission.
Yeah.
So if I reduce it to 5.5, I'm going to be taking the hit, not you.
Ooh,
Okay?
that's pretty damn strong.
I'm going to take the hit. I'm going to take the 2.5%, and I'm still going to offer you 3 because I have no right to negotiate your efforts or your salary without your permission.
Okay.
That would be like me going to your broker or whoever it is and say, oh, you know what? Give them 2 points less on that loan because we had to do it to get the business.
Yeah.
I think it is one of the most, you can go ahead and negotiate commission because it's always negotiation. But if I'm going to lower my rate, I'm going to take the hit. I don't have the right to negotiate your effort or your value
Yeah.
without your permission.
So what it really comes down to is value and what you are actually offering for
Sure.
a client.
How you feel about
Yeah.
yourself.
Mm-hmm.
What your confidence level is.
I think though that everybody comes from a different place.
Sure. I'm
Right.
not speaking
And-
for anybody
Right.
else.
And I'm just going to say that, there's people out there that are like, hey, you know what? I'd rather, like, for instance, if you listed it for 1%, right? They do that for leads, and there's a purpose behind it normally, right? I would say. So you got people in the city that they're listing 1%, right? And they're trying to, what the future
But
goal
are
is.
they?
I think what the future
But
goal
are
is.
they?
Well, I think so.
Because that's what they use to get the appointment. But by the time that appointment closes, if you want it listed in the MLS, that's an extra. If you want me to show your house, that's an extra. So they use that as a lead, but do they really come out selling it for 1%?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Very, very rarely.
My thing is like when you list it, right? So I know people that list it for 1%. They get the bare minimum service, right? They don't really do anything
Yeah.
for it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one thing that you don't get. Now, the objective for that agent though is, okay, everybody's going to call us, and we may not get everybody, but we still have a database. It's going to build our database. We're going to get more leads, and we're going to be able to market to them.
Yeah, but
And-
I really can't speak to that because I don't participate in that method.
No, I know, but I'm just saying in general, when people look at, like you're saying, you're worth 3%, it's a bigger comparison or bigger separation for, like, let's say you're getting 3% versus somebody listing at 1. The listing at 1, you're getting what you pay for is basically what I'm saying.
And I also think it really depending on the price point of the home. When you're looking around like 500 and below, I could see that. But when you start hitting that million and above, the owners of those properties that are doing $3-4 million deals, they understand what's going on. They're business people, and they understand that, look, I need somebody to come in that is actually qualified, and I'm willing to pay the 6% because I know they can get the deal done, versus somebody else coming in and say, hey, I'll do it for like 2-3%, because you're not going to get that full service. And I think that's where that gap is, right?
Correct.
And that's
There's
where
a
it
gap.
comes down to, because if you look at homes around the 400, 500 range, what you notice, it's a whole different income level. And when you're at that income level, it's all about savings, and I understand. But then it's like, how do you, and I don't want to say convince because that's wrong, but how do you provide that same service, but also letting that client know, hey, I'm going to try to get you top dollar, or especially in today's market, we know the home is going to just sell fast just because it's priced correctly, right? So how do you overcome that? And what would you tell the seller? Would you literally walk away from that, or just say, hey, you know what? because I know it's going to sell within 7 days on the market. You're pricing it correctly. I know your situation. I will go ahead and list it at 4%. Or would you walk away?
It's a tough
call. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to go back to what you said. You said time is important. That's all you have is time.
But there's different factors too, because one of the things that we have standards and guidelines through GLBAR, and we have standards and guidelines through the real estate law. So we have to adhere to those as well. But we also have to understand that there's no hard and fast rules, because everybody's out there running their own type of business.
Yeah.
It's the type of business that you want to do. If I know a family's in distress and they're hardly making any money, and you know what I mean,
Yeah.
and I can have a chance to be of service to these people and put
Then
some
that would
money
make
in
sense.
that would make sense. But you know, I don't know it's going to sell in 7 days.
Yeah.
And right now, yes, I am going to put every dollar I can on that price point to see if I can get it. But I'm also going to include an addendum that if this doesn't get any action in 2 weeks, we're going to automatically reduce. Right?
Yeah, I got you.
So there's a lot of different circumstances. And I think that in some people's desperation to get a check, they overlook the circumstances and make adjustments accordingly in order to serve the client. I'm not in here to serve myself.
Yeah.
And that's the basis of all the success that I've had. So if, you know, whatever I can do to help and whatever is appropriate to the situation, that's what I'm going to do.
Now, if I'm selling my property, how do I know what my property's worth? How does the seller find that out?
Well, everybody thinks comps is the value of their property. No, that's what other things sold for.
Yeah.
The actual value of your property is whatever somebody's going to pay for it.
Yeah.
Right? We have $32 million listings in Las Vegas, and some people in the world would say there's no property in Vegas worth that until somebody writes a check.
Correct.
Right? So we really are, you know, on value, a comparison is just that, a comparison.
Yeah.
So then you don't actually find out what your property's worth until you put it on the market and you sell it.
So how does a seller know, as far as like, before I even list it with you, how do I know? I should have some sort of gauge of what I think the home is worth compared to what you think the home is worth and what it will sell for.
Well, first of all, I never give my opinion on what I think a house is worth.
Okay.
Because I am not an appraiser.
Okay.
There are so many realtors out there that speak outside their license. And one of the things when I was talking to Teddy, and Teddy was talking to me in school, is he said, Bill, the only chance that you will have to get in trouble is when you try to speak outside the scope of your license.
Okay.
You're not a lawyer. You're not an appraiser. You're not a loan officer. So what I do is I go to the people that's their expertise.
Okay.
Okay. So I don't ever give my opinion. We try to get the facts. We were raised by Ivan and Florence to be the source of the source. You go out and you get the best 3 people you can, and you let the seller choose for themselves.
Okay, so what you're saying is when you're on a listing appointment and somebody decides to move forward with you, what you will do is get an appraisal done prior?
Why not? It's a $400 investment on a could be a $500,000 return. Why not?
Okay.
In addition to that, you also do a home inspection, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
But that's more of on the high end side. You're not doing that on the 400, are you?
No, all properties.
Okay. You got to chill with the separation. Because real estate is real estate.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter whether you're selling a $100,000 home or a $100 million home.
Yeah.
You are still responsible to uphold the same standards of the NRS that any other thing is. So we got to get off the fact of separating these things, because, you know, everybody deserves that value. And you talk about 6% and you talk about different commissions and you talk about it, but who's going to bring a team to the table?
Yeah.
First of all, when you list with me, you automatically hire 6 agents.
Yeah.
6 agents that are trained by me, 6 agents that have the same ethics as I do, 6 agents that are going to take exactly the same actions to represent your house and show your house. Okay. You have the internet, which does its job, and we are absolutely going to put your house on every platform, but it's also not going to be shot with my phone. I don't give a shit how good my phone camera is.
Yeah.
That house whether it's 400,000 or whether it's 4 million, is going to be professionally shot and be presented to the world in the best form, the best function, the best feature that it can be.
Does it make a difference though in this type of market? Like if you're in a market where you have an abundance of properties, it's supply and demand. You got a bunch of properties
That would
you can
make
sell.
sense.
Yeah, but the market
does it really make a difference?
The
where
market
it's
does
just
not
going-
dictate my standards as
Well, we're not just talking
agent.
about your standard. We're just talking about the general agent out there, right? Because this is what I
Right.
see.
Okay, well, let's ask. Let's ask you. I'm going to come list your house today. Does it matter whether good pictures are up or not?
Oh no, yes it does.
Yes, it does.
Well,
Whether wait a minute.
That's my
whether
point.
It sells in 1 day or 10.
Well, it depends on my situation. Like if I got to get out, then maybe yes. Because every real estate transaction, is never the same. Every deal is completely different. You've done hundreds of deals, right? The way that you negotiate between the seller and yourself is always completely different. Because there's times where you just mentioned that you may not even take it at 6% because you know that that family needs the money because they want to transition, but then you're willing to help them out.
Right.
So basically, there's at the end of the day, there's a gap, but the level of the service will always be there, and I understand because it doesn't matter if I sell a $50,000 home because I literally went to Gene to sell a $50,000 home, drove out there 4 times just to get the deal done. I could have said no, but that's not what I'm saying. I'm not trying to segregate, but let's get reality here, like what's really going on. Do you see what I'm saying?
I do. But at the same time, somehow pictures are emotional for people. Like even if it sells fast
Yeah.
and it doesn't have a chance, because you have to list with pictures anyway.
Yeah.
So it's going to take a few days to list the house.
Yeah.
But sometimes people, even if it goes into escrow quickly, want those pictures for themselves. That
Well,
this was their last house.
I
and
would
stuff
say
like
this,
that.
maybe at a higher end for sure. Like if you're selling at 800,000 and let's say it's this dream home or there, I would say that there's a lot of pictures out there that it does a disservice to that house.
Correct.
They're taking it inside the room or it's dark, the lighting's not good, but maybe at the higher end level, it makes a difference. But it's just, if you're in a market where, that 500,000 to 700,000, 400,000 to 700,000 price range, those things are just moving, and they're just, people are like, yeah, I like it, but you know what? I'm still going to put an offer in. And what they were doing is put an offer in and then go look at it.
But what's the number one thing that pisses off buyers?
What's that?
To the max.
What's that?
The photos that are looking way like gorgeous than it really does.
Inaccurate pictures.
Yeah.
But again, it goes down to the market though, right? So if you're at 4 to 7 and you're struggling, you're competing against buyers,
Yeah.
right? Hey, I'm willing to take the risk. That's the thing. I'm willing to take the risk to say, you know what? I'll get this offer accepted and we'll figure it out. We got our 10-day due diligence to back out. Now, maybe at the $1 million range, it makes more of a significant difference, or if you have more properties on the market. But if you're in that price range, to me, I'm like, you know what? I'm looking at the pictures. Let me really go inside and take a look at it. I'm not going to just be sold off of that,
Sure. But here's the deal. What is the segregation? Again, it takes a couple of days to even get whatever price point, your $50,000 house in June.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So why not give that customer the full spectrum? Because even in a fantastic market like we're in right now, the pictures are going to even bring more.
They're important. But I mean, I'm just saying, in markets, maybe less
Okay,
important.
I'm going to take a stance just to end,
No.
end the argument that I'm going to do great professional photographs.
Oh, we already know
Whether
that.
the market
yeah,
sucks
I
or
don't
not.
question you do that.
No. Just because I want that as my standard for not only me, but for my clients. And if they want them afterwards, you know what I mean? And it's a way to extend, because here's the reason too.
Yeah, tell me.
You brought up a really good deal, because I did a house in Gene.
Yeah.
And you know what Gene was like
Yes.
10 years ago, okay? There was this dog that was chasing our car, and I don't think because he liked chasing cars, because I think he was begging us to take him with us, right? So I had this one, man, I think it was a manufactured home or something, and I went out there and I knocked it out of the park for this lady.
Yeah.
Manufactured.
Manufactured home.
That's
That's pretty much what it's all out there.
That's
in
a
a small
tough
little
one, man.
airport, which is kind of cool.
and it was some sort
Yeah.
of like that. It wasn't a trailer, so I could still sell it, but I forget
Yeah.
what it was. But they called it a patio home or something like that. That was on a slab or
Okay.
something like that. But I knocked it out of the park for her. And do you know I've gotten 3 Montecito customers at multi-million-dollar price range because that's what she knew. Mm-hmm. She was their actual domestic help.
Oh, wow.
Southern Highlands?
I can't remember where. But
Montecito? You said
no, Montecito, California.
Oh, California.
Buyers that were migrating from here
Okay.
that knew her. She worked for them in their multi-million-dollar mansions and went with me because I took care of her. So you never know. You never know if that.
So as a seller,
Yes.
as a seller, no matter what price point you're saying is that you need to provide the service.
Yep.
Comps. Basically, you will get an appraisal regardless the price.
Yep.
Okay. Showings, you're going to do it privately because that's a service that you're going to provide, correct?
Somebody will show up.
Yes. Now, the other thing is, what are some of the tips that you can provide to sellers as far as getting their property ready, right? Do you have those tough conversations with them? Because, sometimes you can go to a listing appointment and you want to make sure that this home shows very well, right? What are some of the things that you've seen, and what are the things and tips that you can provide for the people that are out there that are actually getting ready to sell their home?
Cleanliness
Okay.
and sparsity is great.
Okay.
Cleanliness and sparsity is great.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody wants to instantly if you have a cluttered, dirty home.
Yeah.
And unlike a lot of people aren't dirty, they live there, so they're not going to be show ready all the time.
Yeah.
But clean the windows, clean the carpets, have it smelling fresh. Take all of your stuff that you love to use off the counters, so it's a wonderful, wonderful space. For me personally, I'm not a big fan of staging, and everybody's going to hate me for that, but I don't care.
Yeah.
Because when I walk into a home that's vacant, people, and they like it, they automatically start placing their own stuff. If they're distracted by this magnificent furniture that just came out of Restoration Hardware and it's looking all slick and stuff, not necessarily.
Will you
They get
accommodate
distracted.
that if a seller requests that?
Sure.
Okay.
But now, if you want to talk about something that's not worth the price in this market, that shit's expensive.
a lender?
Okay. So
No.
yeah, that shit right there.
No. Just staging is
So
pointing at me
well,
like
that's
saying
what I'm
the
saying. So
lender
now that
is
you say
not-
that, can I kind of pin you on a corner here?
right.
Okay. If you have a property at Gene that's only worth $100,000, right? It's vacant, and the client says, "Look, I need you to provide the full service. I need this thing staged." Would you still do it?
Well, of course,
Okay.
because it's their dime.
Yeah. Oh, it's their dime.
Dude, we don't pay for staging even at a multi-million-dollar.
Okay. Okay.
Have you looked into that shit? That shit's expensive.
Well, somebody requested it from you and say, "Hey, look,
I'm not paying for that.
this is a $10 million deal here, right?"
What's the
Okay,
highest deal
okay,
you've done? Like, I
okay.
mean, you don't have to throw it out there, but you've been pretty. Is it double digits?
Oh hell yeah, he's done over 10
multi-million.
million. Yeah,
Yeah.
of course. Look at him.
Yeah.
You see his shoes, everything.
all-
That
time.
that one strike of a deal
Could change your life.
changed your whole life.
Well, if you're in it for money.
Well, let me say this. So we all have integrity and want to be likable, right?
Yeah.
And want to be ethical, right? Fiduciary responsibility to the client.
Right.
But at the same time, would you do this for less money? I don't know, right? I mean, if you're making 1% on every deal or half a point and you're doing all this work, is it worth it? I don't know. That's a discussion for another day, but you get what I'm saying? You're compensated very well, so it keeps driving people and pushing people, and that's where the cream of the crop comes to the top, where you have that self-leadership come back. So I think, we're paid lucrative, right?
Yeah.
Very lucrative. That is the driving force. And I can't say that, you know what? I'm not saying it's all about money, because we want to do well with people, but there's a blend there. We also want to have a good living too, so we can provide for our family and do well.
I think what sets you apart, you also have the passion for it too as well.
Yeah, I mean,
because
I
if
love
you
real
have-
estate when it sucks.
Yeah.
You know, when you're having really bad days and deals are falling out and people are, you have to go the extra yard. You know, you're really in the right field when you love it on the days that it sucks.
Yeah.
Because I would do it,
So if you get paid half a point, you're still in there in the trenches?
I am not going to have this conversation
Just
with
like-
you because you keep trying to put me in a corner to discount myself.
Yeah.
And that's not,
That's
you
not
know
who
what I
he
mean?
is.
It's
Yeah.
not, well, it's not who anybody should
Yeah.
be.
No,
I
I'm
mean,
just
if
saying
you're-
you
if-
wouldn't. Yeah.
I'm not saying I wouldn't. You keep trying to get me to get into a hole. It's not really about the money. It's about what do you think about yourself?
Yeah.
You know, what kind of business do you want to have?
It's the what value do you have?
Correct.
Do you understand what value you're coming with?
So are you going to do loans?
No,
Not
there's
for
a value.
free.
There's a value, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. You have a certain value to you that you request and you expect. That's what I was going for. You know what I mean? I wouldn't do it for half a point is what I'm saying.
Why not?
Because I think that
You have a single mother with 3 kids that takes the bus. She's been saving for years. It's her first thing.
case by case.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
That's what we need to do. Because I don't look at a multimillionaire any different than I do somebody. And I know that's kind of strange and probably a lot of people are going to think that's bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
But,
Well, it's kind of hard because
But
people
my-
segregate them. You know what I'm
my
saying?
client is my client.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit what your status is. I'm going to serve you. I'm going to follow the rules of real estate. I'm going to make sure that this transaction is spick and span. And as a result of that, I earn higher because people will not leave you. I mean, you know the people that you've done multiple loans for. This morning, I wrote an offer and listed a house. This is his 5th transaction with me. Okay? So, I mean, I'm not trying to be difficult. I'm not trying to be argumentative, but really, man, fuck the money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Put that person first. Put that family first. I mean, what we do is important. I mean, think of your home.
Yeah.
You do everything there. You raise your kids. You make love. You fight. You make up. You shit. You know, with a strong home and a loving home, you can go out there into the world and be your best. And that's the service we provide.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm saying is not to you generally.
No, I understand.
I'm saying overall, though. Real estate agents, they get paid handsomely,
Yeah,
right?
I can't speak on that.
So they do. And I know for a fact because I just know the details. So I'm going to speak on it. For the most part, it's not saying that it's all driven by money, but you do live a very good lifestyle for the most part if you make it to the top 20%. Right. And I think that's where people want to get to that threshold. As agents as a whole, you do get compensated. Yeah. And I think that's the difference.
But what I'm saying is that if you put the value in the client first,
You automatically get it.
Yeah.
That other stuff is
It's irrelevant.
Is irrelevant.
Yeah. Which is true.
Irrelevant.
You help people get what they want. Eventually, you'll be there. That's
100%.
That's just how
exactly
it is.
what Teddy said.
Yeah. So, and I'm a testimonial to that. I know how that works because at the end of the day, you're gonna get to a point where it's no longer about the money. It's you already have your system in place, but you're just helping people get to where they want to get to.
You know what I would like to
that's it.
see the top 20 be?
Yeah.
The people that were kindest, the people that were nicest, the people that served their clients and got so many compliments. I think that would shift our entire industry.
Yeah.
Not how many you sold, not how much money you made, or not what you're driving, but how many clients really called in and said, you know what, Bill changed my life.
Yeah.
And Bill, you might be the outlier to that.
Yeah,
Okay?
probably.
Yeah, okay, because listen,
That's true because
I'm coming from a different look at I don't know you personally, right? So I'm looking at agents, but you got to think that from my perspective of what agents do in these, and it's great. Agents work hard, they do well, but you also have these companies, right, and these brokers. Their main objective is to sell. Their main objective is to bring in business and to bring in revenue because that's what they need. That doesn't mean you don't help somebody.
Right.
At the half a point or whatever it is. It just means the objective of all these agents is to produce, right? And you're hired on producing for that company.
Right, but somehow, okay, I totally understand what you're saying, and I agree with you 100%, but I think that everybody has their own standards of why they do it.
Correct.
yeah.
So my why is a little different.
Correct.
And I'm not
There you
saying
go.
there's nothing wrong with their why. You can chase money all the way down the street and up over the hill and get it any way you can and be as ruthless as you want or as competitive as you want. That's not my deal.
Right.
I have found that through love and service and quality of representation that I don't ever have to worry about money again. And I 99% of the time don't even have to discuss commission
Yeah.
because they know what they're going to get.
That's good. That's strong.
You know what I mean? And that's the place I want to be. I don't want to be up against anybody. I don't want to have to discount myself because the person has no faith in me.
Yeah.
87% of my business is done on referral.
Wow, that's strong.
I don't have what do you call
Marketing?
it? Basically.
Okay. Hey, let me ask you this, because this is important right here. So, when you walk into a home and there's some things that like need to be done, obviously like the declutter and stuff like that, would you actually advise to do any type of rehab or anything like that?
You know what? That's a debate. Because what if you rehab it in a way where buyers don't like it?
So what do you do? Like,
I would offer a credit.
okay.
Like I'm about to take a listing where the master bathroom bathtub
Needs to be rehabbed?
it's rough.
Yeah.
It's rough. So my client is telling me, well, I could put in a big walk-in shower or I could resurface it again. I'm like, let's leave it as it is and let the buyer dictate what he needs.
Okay, so would you ask the seller to say, hey, let's do a price reduction off of that so that way it can move, or we're going to list it where you want to list it, then we'll let the buyer come in, make a decision if they want to buy the home. They'll look at it and they'll say, hey, let's ask for a price reduction.
Okay, this is where I get into arguments with people all the time. Because he doesn't like the paint color, doesn't mean that you as the seller become responsible for that bill.
Yeah.
Okay, so when we're talking specifically like something like a bathtub that's due to the function, I think they should offer a specific credit for that.
Okay.
Not devalue the entire property or the price, but to say, okay, I'll give you $5,000 worth taking this stupid tub out and making it a beautiful walk-in shower. How's that?
Yeah.
But I wouldn't devalue the value of the home. And if you don't like a house cosmetically, my seller is not going to pay for it.
Yeah.
I think there's been too much, well, this looks terrible, or I don't like purple, or, well, okay, it's called, Home Depot. Go down, and you know what I mean? But a lot of the buyers are so arrogant now, it's like, oh, well, I'll give you $50,000 less because I don't like
the paint color.
Yeah. And, shit. If you don't like carpet, then don't buy the house.
Yeah.
Go find some, you know what I mean? But asking for $20,000 for a credit for flooring, we're kind of past all that.
Okay.
Because like in 2008, 2010, there was no flooring. So you had to get something.
Right.
So let's talk about when buyers come in and they look at the property. Before they even look at the property, what I start to see now is, especially on the high-end side, that the listing agent will require a proof of funds or an approval letter. Explain why you see that. And is that actually a benefit to the seller?
Sometimes it can be. Sometimes it can't. But for the most times, I personally require it because I think it's an added level of protection for my seller.
Okay.
Because not only is the home valuable, but there are valuable things in the home. That's, again, another reason why I go there and personally walk people through. Not that I don't trust people, not that I'm paranoid, but to protect my client.
It's just that extra layer.
Right. And you don't want everybody who's anybody running through your house. Because now with all these TV shows where they show these mega mansions and stuff like that, if you get an opportunity to walk through it, most people will really want to do that, whether they can afford it or not.
Yeah.
So, and, letters of pre-approval, I'm sure, some lenders issue them like toilet paper. You know what I mean? It's not really, but still, a lot of people will back down at the mere suggestion. And if they don't do it, then I don't show it.
Yeah. Okay. So now if a buyer decides that, hey, I don't need to show it to you, right? Because now I feel like you're discriminating, right? Does the seller still have to show the property? Not at all.
It is at the seller's discretion.
Okay.
And you know what? I never make it about myself.
Yeah.
I tell the other agent, look, I'm not requiring this. It's not my house.
Yeah.
But we are obligated to do what our clients tell us to do as long as it doesn't violate the law.
Yeah.
So that's how I present it. I'm like, look, my clients are requiring this. If you don't do it, then you don't do it.
Okay. Let's talk about inspections. When the inspection comes back for your seller, and the buyer is asking for repairs to be done, would you advise the seller to make the repairs, or would you advise them to do a price reduction or credit?
Why are you asking me all these trick questions? You know these are violations, right?
Well, because what happens is the seller doesn't make a decision. The seller will always look to you and say, "Hey, what do you think I should do?"
No.
Well, explain it to me. So
we're going to give them 3 recommendations to professionals that do those things, and we're going to get quotes.
But that's what I wanted to get to, right? Because what happens is you get the home inspection report.
Right, but you keep putting me in the position to where I'm going to make a decision, or that's what it sounds like to me. No.
That's not my intentions. My intentions is, as I'm a seller, I get this back and I say, Bill, what should I do? Or
you should consult
now.
People
there you go.
This is their profession. And then what I usually do is I tell them, okay, get some quotes.
Okay.
We'll give us some time. We'll extend the due diligence so that you can make an accurate decision for yourself. Let's gather all the information. Let's get the plumber. Let's get the electrician. Let's get the quote. And then you'll see if you want to be bothered with it or not.
50% off all Domino's online.
Domino's online? We're
Sorry.
getting pizza? All right.
See, Bill, that's what I was trying to set you up with.
Okay,
right
good.
there.
Yeah,
because that's what you should. That's what you should be doing.
Right.
Is when that happens to me, it's basically, look, if you want to know if the buyer's asking for $10,000, I don't know if the shit's $10,000.
Exactly.
What you need to do is go get the quote and let me see the quote. Then you make a decision.
Do not speak outside of your license. Do not be the plumber. Do not be the lawyer. Do not be the electrician.
Yeah.
Or you will get sued.
Okay.
Give your seller all the information they need to make a proper decision.
Okay. Now, the appraisal.
Yes.
When the appraisal comes back
Yes.
and it's lower,
Yes.
what happens?
Whatever your seller wants. I mean, but
Yeah,
do you understand?
Yeah, I understand.
We forget that we are not an authority. We are a representative.
Yes.
We are a vital part of providing sellers and buyers with the information that they need.
And you let them make the decision.
Exactly. I cannot tell them, oh, you should lower the price. Oh, I don't, you know what I mean? I can't do that. That's their decision.
Yeah. But again, sellers will always look to you and say, hey, what are my options? And at that point, what do you say?
I said you can reduce. No.
But you give them the options.
Right.
Exactly. And that's my
in
point.
An advisory
Yes.
capacity.
You're not steering, but you're advising.
Right.
These are your options, A and B. These are your pros and cons. What is it that you want to do?
Look what's going on in the market right now.
Yeah.
Realtors are so desperate to get their clients into these needs, they're allowing their clients to go without an inspection, without an appraisal, encouraging them to pay over. What is that?
Mm-hmm.
This could go very badly for them after the market calms down.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have to put it in writing. I understand, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, that you're looking to waive the inspection. I do not recommend it.
Yeah.
Right? But we will go ahead according to your request so that your ass is covered.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Just like today when I went out with my buyer, I'm like, we are not waiving inspection and we are not waiving appraisal.
Yeah.
And he's like, thank you. Thank you for that. Because I was wondering if we had to do that to be competitive.
Okay, so another thing.
If that's what they want, that's what I'll do. But I'm going to protect my license and my reputation by saying I don't recommend that. Right?
So what are a few tips that you can provide to sellers for sellers that actually sell their home for top dollar?
Cleanliness.
Okay, we talked about that.
Uncluttered.
Okay.
Yard in tip-top shape.
Okay.
Nobody wants to look like 2008 yards. Remember when we were
all brown,
driving
dry.
down the street, right?
Yeah.
Right? And, I know we all get used to living in our homes, and what's acceptable through a living home and to a showing home is two totally different things.
Yeah.
Cleanliness, uncluttered, windows washed, lots of light. Put your, every light in the house on. Make it as bright and as inviting as possible.
Well, Bill, I do appreciate you coming out here and schooling us on how to get your home sold for top dollar.
Yep.
If somebody wants to get a hold of you, what is the best way to get a hold of you if they want to list their home today?
702-449-9556. I answer my phone.
24/7?
24/7.
I'm going to call you 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yep, and you're going to be shot. He's setting me up all the time. Do you see how he's setting people up?
That's why I came in to set you
He's
up.
like, yeah, right. Hey,
He's like, hey, get this lender in here to set you
I
up.
think I did pretty good though.
No, you did very good. We gave you the tough questions.
Yep.
You answered the tough questions properly, right?
And here's what I want people to know most.
Yeah.
That's the way I do it. I am not making a comment or a criticism or even a judgment how other people want to do their
Everybody runs their business separate.
because that's the freedom of real estate.
That's right.
But I just wanted to let you know that I neither criticize nor condone anybody else, but I love the way I do business and I love being here today with you. And we got to talk about how you can become a partner in the Hargraves team and provide us with financing options.
You have trust with me. I love it.
Always recruiting.
Yeah, anybody that gives me shit, I immediately trust. I hate somebody who's like, oh yes. Oh,
That's not me, man.
no, that's not me either.
Appreciate your time.
All right.
All right, guys. If you guys haven't had a chance to subscribe to the channel, go ahead and click that subscribe button. Until next week at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, I'm Chakits Krulsawat with Simply Vegas, and I'm out.